Henrietta's fingers locked around May Bernard's throat and slammed her against the wall. For 7 years, they had called her wolfless, useless, defective. This time, something inside May answered. Silver light burst from her body, throwing every she-wolf in the room backward. Floors above them, Alpha Douglas suddenly froze as a violent surge of power shook through the pack house. May stared at her glowing hands, unable to understand what she had done. Something that had slept inside her for 23 years was finally waking. Chapter 1: The Wolfless Shame. Everyone had a destiny. Everyone carried a wolf somewhere inside them. That was what May Bernard's mother used to whisper to her every night before she died. But May would eventually discover that some truths were simply beautiful lies people told themselves so they could survive an ugly world. Because when you were the only wolfless girl surrounded by predators, when you spent your days kneeling on marble floors beneath the feet of alphas, and when your own father could trade you like livestock to settle his debts, destiny stopped sounding like a blessing. It began to sound like another name for suffering. And May Bernard had suffered more than she ever thought possible. Before anything could change, however, she would first have to lose everything she thought she understood about herself. The silver polish stung the cracks covering May's hands as she scrubbed the grand staircase of Moonstone Packhouse for the 3rd time that morning. Her knees throbbed against the marble. Her plain gray servant uniform was 2 sizes too large, frayed along the seams, and hung from her thin body like something meant for burial rather than work. You missed a spot. May did not need to lift her head. She knew that voice. Henrietta Schmidt had tormented her since childhood, and her words always carried the effortless cruelty of someone who had never faced consequences. A designer heel tapped the marble only inches from May's raw fingers. The shoe probably cost more than May earned in 6 months. Right there. Henrietta paused. Oh, wait, that's only your reflection. Sometimes it's difficult to tell the difference between dirt and you. Laughter filled the entrance hall. Henrietta was not alone. Jana Powers stood beside her, auburn hair shining perfectly beneath the skylight. Annette Booker, daughter of a pack council member, covered a smile with one hand. Jacqueline Mullins stood with them as well, wearing the smug expression she always carried whenever she reminded anyone that her wolf had appeared at 13, 2 years earlier than expected. May lowered her face and continued polishing. Her dark hair fell forward, hiding the heat burning across her cheeks. Humiliation had become familiar after 7 years, almost comfortable in its predictability. I honestly don't understand why Alpha Douglas keeps her here, Jana said while studying her manicured nails. It's embarrassing. A wolfless maid, Henrietta agreed. Imagine what visiting packs must think. That Moonstone takes in defective strays out of charity? Her smile sharpened. Although May should probably be grateful. Where else would a 23-year-old woman without a wolf find employment? She can't fight. She can't hunt. She can't do anything useful. 23 years, 2 months, 14 days. That was exactly how long May had waited for her wolf. Every full moon, she had entered the sacred transformation circle with other young wolves. Around her, bodies shifted, bones reshaped, fur emerged, eyes glowed with ancient power. May experienced none of it. She remained painfully human, powerless, different, broken. My father says wolflessness can be genetic, Annette announced as though May were not kneeling only a few feet away. He says her mother was probably weak too. Bad blood. Maybe that's why she died young. Her own wolf rejected her. May's fingers tightened around the polishing cloth until her knuckles whitened. She wanted to tell them that Karen Bernard had been stronger than every one of them. Her mother had survived a rogue attack that killed 12 wolves. She had raised May alone after May's father abandoned them. She had worked 3 jobs until exhaustion destroyed her body when May was 16. But servants did not shout. Servants did not defend themselves. Servants survived by learning how to disappear. Ladies. A deep male voice sliced through the laughter. May froze. Everyone in Moonstone knew that voice. Alpha Douglas MacDonald stood at the top of the staircase, his huge frame cutting across the morning light from the skylight behind him. At 35, Douglas was at the height of his strength. 6 feet 4 inches of muscle and dominance, with iron gray eyes capable of stripping courage from wolves who had spent their lives fighting. Authority rolled from him like heat from a furnace. May's throat tightened automatically. Behind Douglas stood Beta Terrence Ford and Rafael Ramos, his third in command. The 3 most powerful males in the territory were staring directly toward her. Alpha MacDonald. Henrietta's entire demeanor changed. Her cruel voice became almost sweet. "We were only harassing my staff?" Douglas descended several steps. The young women moved apart immediately. "How productive. I'm sure your fathers will be delighted to learn how you spend your mornings." Color rushed into Henrietta's face. She bowed. The others quickly followed. "Forgive us, Alpha," Gianna murmured. "Out." Douglas never raised his voice. He did not have to. One word carried enough authority to send all 4 women hurrying toward the entrance, expensive heels striking the marble in frantic succession. Then silence returned. May remained on her knees. Her heart pounded against her ribs. 7 years. She had worked inside Douglas MacDonald's home for 7 years, and he had never spoken directly to her. Alphas rarely noticed servants. They noticed wolfless servants even less. "Stand." May pushed herself upright on shaking legs and stared at the middle button of his black shirt. Looking directly into an alpha's eyes could be interpreted as a challenge. May had no intention of challenging Douglas MacDonald. "Look at me." Her breath caught. That was not a request. His alpha will pressed behind the command, and May's chin lifted almost against her own control. She met his storm gray eyes. Up close, Douglas was more intimidating than he appeared from across a room. A scar stretched from his left temple toward his jaw, a reminder of the war with the Northern Pax 3 years earlier. His dark hair was brushed back from a hard face built from sharp angles and restrained violence. But his eyes held something May had not expected. Recognition. "What's your name?" "May Bernard, Alpha." Her answer barely escaped her throat. "How long have you worked here, May Bernard?" 7 years, Alpha." Douglas studied her. "And during those 7 years, has anyone in my pack shown you even an ounce of respect?" May forgot how to breathe. Was this a trap? If she answered yes, she would lie. If she answered no, she would be condemning his pack and perhaps his leadership. "I don't require respect, Alpha. I'm grateful to have work." Something shifted across Douglas's face. Anger, perhaps. Maybe disappointment. Behind him, Terrence and Raphael exchanged a look May could not decipher. "You're wolfless," Douglas said. It was a statement, not a question. "Yes, Alpha." "Do you know why?" May swallowed. "No. The healers say there is nothing medically wrong with me. My wolf simply never came. Or perhaps she is there." Douglas spoke slowly. "Perhaps she has been waiting for the right moment to appear." May's heart stumbled. Was he mocking her? She had spent years constructing walls around the part of herself that once believed she would eventually transform. She could not survive having that hope awakened only to lose it again. "With respect, Alpha, I don't think. I'm not asking what you think." Douglas descended the remaining stairs until he stood directly before her. He was close enough that May could smell pine, steel, and something wild that made instincts she did not understand scream inside her. "I'm telling you what I know. Truly wolfless wolves are rare, but delayed transformations exist. Some wolves remain dormant until they encounter a catalyst." "A catalyst?" "Trauma, a threat." His eyes held hers. "Or a mate bond." May felt the world tilt. From the staircase, Terrence spoke carefully. "Alpha Douglas, perhaps this discussion should continue somewhere private. She needs to hear this now." Douglas never looked away from May. "May Bernard, do you know what I smelled the moment I walked into this hall?" She shook her head. "Lilac and rainwater." The exact scent I have searched for since becoming alpha 12 years ago. His jaw tightened. You're my mate. The polishing cloth slipped from May's hand. It landed on the marble with a tiny sound that seemed deafening. No, this could not be happening. Douglas MacDonald was the most powerful wolf across 3 territories. Every unmated she-wolf dreamed of being chosen by him. He could have beautiful women, influential bloodlines, political alliances. Yet he was standing before the girl who scrubbed his stairs and saying the impossible. That can't be true. May heard the tremor in her own voice. I don't have a wolf. I can't feel a mate bond. I can't feel anything. Your human side can't, Douglas corrected. Your wolf can. May stared at him. She has known since the first day you entered this pack house 7 years ago. She remained hidden, silent, protecting herself. He stepped closer, waiting until I found her. His voice softened. Until I found you. This is insane. May retreated until her back struck the wall beside the staircase. You have the wrong person. You must. Douglas followed. I'm nobody. I'm nothing. Mine. His eyes flashed gold. His wolf surged close to the surface, and raw dominance rolled from him. May's knees buckled. Terrence suddenly appeared beside her and caught her elbow before she collapsed. Easy, he murmured. Breathe, May. Tears burned behind her eyes. I don't understand. Why would the moon goddess do this? Why would she pair you with someone defective? I can't shift. I can't fight. I can't give you powerful heirs. It's cruel. It's perfect. Douglas closed the remaining distance. He lifted one hand and cupped May's cheek with a tenderness, completely at odds with the dangerous male standing before her. His thumb caught a tear she had not realized had fallen. You think I want another pack princess? Someone who sees me as a prize? May said nothing. I've met hundreds of beautiful, powerful she-wolves with flawless pedigrees and political connections. Every one of them looked at me and saw a throne. His gaze softened. Not a man. Douglas watched her quietly. But you look at me and see danger, because experience taught you that power usually hurts people like you. May could not answer. I've watched you for 7 years. The admission sent a shock through her. I watched you work twice as hard as everyone else, because you knew people were searching for excuses to dismiss you. I watched you endure humiliation, because losing this job would leave you with nothing. His voice lowered. I watched you clean scraped knees for pups who called you the strange lady. I watched you divide your own meals with Omega wolves who had no one. He leaned closer. I have watched you show strength every day, without claws, teeth, or dominance. May's throat tightened. And I have waited for the moment I could tell you that your suffering was over. That you were never broken. That you are exactly what you were meant to become. And what is that? May whispered. Douglas smiled. A genuine smile changed his severe face completely. My Luna, the future leader of Moonstone Pack. The woman who will stand at my side and teach this territory what strength actually means. May's legs failed. Terrence tightened his hold on her arm. The entrance hall spun around her. This had to be a hallucination caused by polish fumes. Anything made more sense than reality. May swallowed. I need time. I need to think. I can't just... Of course. Douglas straightened, his controlled alpha expression returning. Take the rest of today. Go downstairs. Rest. We'll speak again tonight. At the gathering? Her blood chilled. That's where I'll formally announce the mate bond. He said it as calmly as though he were discussing dinner. I have delayed claiming my Luna long enough. Moonstone needs stability. They need to know their alpha has found his mate. They'll never accept me. The words escaped before May could stop them. I'm wolfless. I'm a servant. They'll revolt. They'll obey. Douglas's voice became a dangerous growl. Or they will face me. His eyes burned gold. And no wolf in this territory is strong enough to challenge my choice. Douglas turned and climbed the staircase. Terrence and Raphael followed. At the landing, he stopped. "And May?" She looked up. "Stop calling yourself broken." His stare held hers. "You're dormant." Then he disappeared into the upper halls, leaving May alone with a racing heart, a discarded polishing cloth, and a world that no longer made sense. Deep inside her chest, somewhere she had trained herself not to feel, something shifted. Something untamed. Something that felt dangerously close to hope. Chapter 2. The Omega's Quarters. May's room lay beneath the pack house, at the end of a narrow basement corridor that smelled of damp stone, mildew, and forgotten things. No official sign called it the Omega Wing. No sign was necessary. Everyone knew who lived there. The lowest-ranking wolves, servants, and people whose presence the powerful preferred not to see. May's room was barely larger than a storage closet. A narrow bed held a thin mattress. A wooden dresser supported a cracked mirror. One tiny window near ceiling level offered nothing except a view of passing shoes outside. It was miserable, but it belonged to her. For 7 years, it had been the only place where May could lock a door and pretend she was safe. She made it 3 steps inside before collapsing. Her back hit the bed frame as she slid onto the worn rug. Then 7 years of control broke. May cried. She cried for the 16-year-old girl who had stepped into the transformation circle expecting a wolf that never came. She cried for every insult, every pitying stare, every opportunity denied because people believed she was defective. She cried for her mother, who died still believing her daughter would someday shift. And she cried because Douglas MacDonald had offered everything May had secretly wanted: belonging, protection, perhaps love, and she was terrified accepting any of it would destroy her. His mate. The words felt like a curse inside her mind. A soft knock interrupted her. May quickly wiped her face. "Who is it?" "It's me, honey." Relief swept through her. May opened the door. Deanne Caldwell slipped inside. At 63, Deanne was head cook of Moonstone Pack House, and the closest thing May had left to family. 7 years earlier, Deanne had discovered May sleeping inside a pack storage shed after her mother's death, starving and desperate. She had convinced the previous head of staff to employ her. She had taught May how to survive a hierarchy designed to crush people without power. Now concern covered Deanne's weathered face. She carried bread, cheese, sliced fruit, and steaming chamomile tea sweetened with honey. "Eat." She placed the tray on the dresser. "You look like death. How did you hear?" May's voice was weak. Deanne gave her a look. "The entire staff is talking about it. Secrets inside this pack house survive about as long as snow in summer." She lowered herself onto the bed with a grunt as her arthritic knees protested. "Alpha Douglas says you're his mate. Is it true?" May nodded. Deanne covered her mouth. "Sweet moon goddess." Then she stared at May intensely. "Do you understand what this means? That I'm about to become the most hated woman in 3 territories?" May gave a bitter laugh. "That every unmated she-wolf who ever imagined herself beside Douglas will want me dead? That Moonstone will never accept a wolfless servant as Luna? That isn't what I meant." Deanne leaned closer. "I mean, you are about to become one of the most powerful females in the region. You'll have influence, protection, resources." Her expression softened. "You'll finally be safe." "Safe?" The word sounded foreign. "I won't be safe, Deanne. I'll become a target. Every wolf here has more reason to challenge me than accept me, and without a wolf, I can't defend myself." "Stop." Deanne's tone cracked through the room. "Stop making yourself smaller." May fell silent. "You survived things stronger wolves would not have survived. You endured years of cruelty without allowing it to destroy your kindness. You exhausted yourself working and never stopped helping others." She pointed toward May. "That is strength." "It won't matter tonight." May leaned against the wall. "When Douglas announces the bond, they'll lose their minds. I'll stand there helpless while they tear me apart." Deanne became very still. Then she asked quietly, "What if you aren't helpless?" May frowned. "What? What if Alpha Douglas is right?" Deanne moved closer. "What if your wolf was never absent? What if she has been dormant?" "I've waited 23 years. I know." Deanne took May's shoulders. "But there is something I never told you." May stared at her. "I knew your mother." Her breath stopped. "What?" "Karen and I grew up in the same pack before I transferred here to join my late mate. Your mother was extraordinary, May." Deanne's eyes became distant. Powerful, her wolf was pure white, rare as starlight. May listened without moving. There were rumors about her bloodline. Some called it blessed. Others called it cursed. Cursed how? Deanne hesitated. Stories said their wolves slept. That their true power could only awaken after the human side had suffered enough to earn it. May's heartbeat accelerated. "I never believed those stories. I thought they were jealousy and pack politics. Wolves trying to diminish Karen because they feared what she could do." Deanne's expression tightened. "Then you were born without a wolf." May's hands went cold. "Your mother researched your condition for years." Deanne reached into her apron. "And before she died, she gave me this." She withdrew a small leather journal. Its cover was cracked with age. "She told me that if anything happened to her, I should give this to you when you were ready." May accepted it with trembling fingers. The handwriting on the first page was unmistakable, her mother's. "My dearest May, if you are reading this, then I am gone. I am sorry I could not stay long enough to watch you become the magnificent wolf I know you will be. You are not broken. You are not defective. You are exactly what you were born to be. A dormant wolf carrying a bloodline older than our pack and older than most living memory. Our family descends from the first wolves who walked beside the moon goddess. We served as her guardians, warriors, and judges. Our power became too great to be granted without cost. It had to be earned. Through suffering. Through surviving what others could not. Your wolf will come, May, but only after you have endured enough to become worthy of the power she carries. Only after you understand real strength, the kind that has nothing to do with claws or fangs. I know this sounds cruel. I spent years hating the moon goddess for placing this burden on you, but I came to understand that when your wolf finally emerges, you will be stronger than any wolf of your generation. Trust your mate when he finds you. The moon goddess does not make mistakes. If he recognizes you as his, believe him. His love will become the final key to what you have carried inside yourself from birth. I love you more than words can hold. Be brave, my darling. Your story is only beginning." "Mom." May's fingers went numb. The journal slipped from her hand. A dormant wolf. A bloodline touched by the moon goddess. Power earned through suffering. 7 years of insults. 7 years of labor. 7 years of loneliness. Had all of it been preparation? I don't understand. May stared at Deanne. If this is true, why didn't Mom tell me before she died? You were 16, terrified, grieving. Deanne spoke gently. She wanted you to develop strength as a human before learning what you might become. She paused. And there was another reason. May waited. The first transformation of a dormant wolf can be violent, dangerous. Do I have to choose to shift? No. It happens when the conditions are right. What conditions? You must have endured enough. Found your mate. Deanne's voice dropped. And you must be threatened badly enough that survival requires your wolf. Cold spread through May's body. What are you saying? I'm saying you need to prepare yourself for tonight. Deanne stood. When Douglas announces your bond, wolves may challenge you. Some will want to prove you don't deserve him. And if they push me far enough. May understood before Deanne finished. My wolf might wake to protect me. Exactly. May stared at the journal. It sounded impossible. But impossible things had already begun happening. What if she doesn't wake? May's voice became small. What if I'm simply wolfless and all of this is hope dressed up like truth? Deanne crouched despite the pain in her knees and held May's face. Then you will do what you have always done. Survive. Deanne nodded. Because you are Karen Bernard's daughter, and you are stronger than you know. Voices erupted outside. Fast footsteps struck the basement corridor. Expensive heels clicked against concrete. Deanne's expression hardened. They're coming. Who? The door flew open so violently it struck the wall and cracked the plaster. Henrietta Schmidt filled the doorway. Jana, Annette, and Jacqueline stood behind her. Beyond them crowded at least a dozen more pack daughters. Their faces were filled with rage. Is it true? Henrietta pushed into the room. Are you seriously claiming to be Alpha Douglas's mate? May backed toward the wall. Deanne stepped protectively before her. Henrietta shoved the older woman aside. I asked you something, Maid. Don't touch her. May's voice shook. Henrietta ignored the warning and advanced. Did you seduce him? Trick him into believing you're his mate? I didn't trick anybody. Douglas approached me. Liar. Jana stepped forward. Alphas don't mate with wolfless servants. It's impossible. You used something. Magic, drugs, a spell. Or perhaps she spread her legs and played helpless, Annette said sweetly. Poor orphan May. So fragile, so broken. Men adore rescuing wounded little birds. The room filled with cruel laughter. May closed her fists. 7 years. 7 years of absorbing insults. 7 years of lowering her eyes. 7 years of surviving by becoming invisible. Something inside her finally refused. Get out. Silence. Henrietta blinked. Excuse me? This is my room. You have no right to be here. Your room? Henrietta laughed. You own nothing, May. Not this room, not your dignity, and definitely not our Alpha. She moved closer. If you think tonight's announcement will actually happen, you're delusional. Douglas will realize what a mistake he made. Her smile became vicious. And then you'll be exactly where you belong, on your knees cleaning our floors. If he doesn't change his mind, Jacqueline added, the pack will deal with you. We protect our own, Jana said. Her stare hardened. And you have never been one of us. The women began surrounding May, predators circling prey. May could smell aggression rolling from them. Every human instinct told her to submit. Lower her head. Accept the hierarchy. But something deeper had begun moving inside her. Something that had listened to every insult for 23 years. Something that remembered every wound. You're right. May's voice became strangely calm. I'm not like you. Henrietta frowned. I'm not a spoiled pack princess who has never worked for anything. I'm not someone who enjoys hurting people weaker than me. May lifted her chin. And I'm not a wolf who mistakes bloodline for character. Henrietta moved instantly. Her hand closed around May's throat and slammed her into the wall. Watch your mouth, you worthless. The room exploded. Silver light erupted from May. A wave of raw energy blasted every one of the 15 she-wolves backward. Bodies struck the opposite wall. Concrete cracked. Screams filled the tiny room. Deanne stood frozen. May looked down. Her hands were glowing. Actual silver radiance pulsed beneath her skin in time with her heart. What the hell was that? Henrietta struggled upright, blood running from a cut on her forehead. May had no answer. But deep inside, the place she had ignored all her life, something laughed. Ancient, wild, powerful. Henrietta's eyes flashed gold. Her wolf surged forward. You're going to regret that, freak. Around her, the other women began shifting. Bones snapped. Bodies changed. 15 wolves prepared to attack one woman who, moments earlier, had believed herself completely human. May should have been terrified. Instead, she felt cold, calm. Come on. Above them, somewhere inside the pack house, Douglas MacDonald's head snapped toward the floor. His wolf roared in sudden alarm as a violent spike of power and danger rippled through the building. Something dormant was awakening beneath his feet. Chapter 3. The First Shift. The transformation began inside May's bones. There was nothing gentle about it. No gradual awakening. Her body shattered and rebuilt itself with such violence that it felt as though every cell had been seized by an angry god. May screamed. The sound tore through the basement corridor, raw and animal, impossible for an ordinary human throat. Silver light exploded from her hands and filled the room. The she-wolves shielded their eyes. "Stop her," Henrietta screamed. Too late. May crashed onto her knees. Her spine lengthened. Vertebrae cracked like gunshots. Her skin rippled as something enormous moved beneath it. Diane pressed herself against the wall, tears covering her face. "Moon goddess, protect us." Her voice trembled. "It's happening." May's fingers stretched. Her nails split away. Black claws emerged. Pain consumed her. Every nerve burned. Muscles tore and reformed. Then her senses exploded outward. She smelled the fear pouring from Henrietta and the others. She smelled damp concrete, chamomile tea 3 rooms away, pine and steel 5 floors above. Douglas. Moving, running toward her. May heard heartbeats pounding through walls, whispers throughout the house, wind moving through trees 1/2 mile away, earth settling beneath the foundation. And beneath everything else, she heard a voice. The voice she had waited 23 years to know. Finally. Her wolf's tone was old, battle-scarred, and merciless. "Finally, you let me out." Jana backed toward the door. "She's shifting." Her voice broke. "That's impossible." May convulsed once more. Pure white fur burst across her body, streaked with silver that gleamed like solid moonlight. Her face extended into a muzzle. Powerful legs reshaped beneath her. Muscle gathered across a body far larger than any female wolf in the room. When the transformation ended, a massive white wolf stood where May Bernard had been. She was twice the size of an ordinary female, larger even than many male alphas. Her fur glimmered with silver radiance. Her eyes burned gold threaded with silver. Henrietta's wolf whimpered, then dropped. Her neck flattened against the floor. Submission. The others followed. Their instincts recognized something their minds could not understand. Superior power. Pathetic, May's wolf snarled inside her mind. "These are the creatures who tormented you. I could kill them before they stood." No. May fought the bloodlust rolling through their shared body. "No killing. They deserve it. They came here to hurt you. I know. But I won't become them." The wolf laughed. "Such human mercy. You will learn that power requires consequences." Her massive head lowered. "But very well. For now, we will teach them fear." May's wolf stepped toward Henrietta. Henrietta scrambled backward. "I'm sorry." Her voice was distorted by her incomplete transformation. "I didn't know. Please." The door exploded inward. Douglas stood there, breathing hard. His eyes blazed gold. Terence and Raphael appeared behind him and stopped dead. For several heartbeats, nobody moved. Douglas stared at the giant white wolf before him. Then his own wolf roared with triumph. He crossed the room and dropped to his knees. Douglas bowed his head. He exposed his neck. "My Luna." The words left him rough with emotion. May's wolf lowered her enormous muzzle and pressed it against his neck. She inhaled. Pine. Steel. Mate. The bond that had been only an idea inside May's human mind snapped into place with overwhelming force. "Mate," her wolf confirmed. "Ours." Douglas buried his hands in May's white fur. He laughed. Not the cold sound of an alpha. The relieved laughter of a man who had finally found something he thought he might never have. "I knew you were there." He pressed his face against her neck. "I knew you were waiting." He pulled back and looked into her glowing eyes. "You're magnificent." Behind him, Terence cleared his throat. "Alpha." Douglas immediately hardened. We have a problem. Speak. The entire pack house felt that energy. Terrence gestured toward cracked concrete and scorch marks on the walls. Everybody knows something happened. Raphael looked toward the submissive she-wolves. And these women witnessed Luna May's first shift. By sunset, the entire territory will know the Wolfless Maid transformed into something stronger than most alphas. Good. Douglas's answer was flat. Let them know. Deanne spoke from the corner. Douglas, you need to understand what happened. He turned. May isn't merely a late bloomer. Deanne looked at the white wolf. She is dormant blood. A silence fell. She descends from the first wolves. Raphael's face changed. The Bernard line? Deanne nodded. The moon goddess's guardians. I thought that was mythology. So did many people. Deanne slowly straightened. Karen Bernard had the same white wolf. Her power was devastating. She looked at May. But Bernard wolves pay for that power. Douglas frowned. How? With suffering. Deanne's voice softened. Pain strengthens them. Hardship strengthens them. Every injustice endured feeds the dormant wolf. Douglas's hand tightened in May's fur. You're telling me the 7 years she was abused here made her stronger. Deanne nodded. A Bernard wolf's strength reflects the suffering its human survived. She looked directly at Douglas. And May survived more pain before 23 than many wolves survive in a lifetime. Henrietta finally spoke. Her voice was small. Alpha Douglas, we didn't know. We never would have. Never would have what? His voice dropped dangerously. Tormented her? Henrietta flinched. Called her worthless? His eyes flashed. Made 7 years of her life unbearable? Jana tried to speak. We were only... Silence. Alpha power struck the room. Jana's mouth closed involuntarily. Douglas looked at every woman there. At tonight's gathering, every one of you will publicly apologize to Luna May. You will kneel, you will bare your necks, you will ask forgiveness for every cruelty you inflicted. His voice hardened further. And if she has enough mercy to accept those apologies, you will spend the rest of your lives proving your loyalty. Nobody answered. Am I understood? Yes, Alpha. Their voices came together. Get out. They fled. Deanne remained. Douglas turned back toward May's wolf. His expression softened again. Can you shift back? His voice became gentle. I would like to speak with the human side of my mate, if she's ready. May's wolf made an amused sound. Polite. I like him. May almost laughed inside her own mind. But don't keep me caged long. I waited 23 years. I want to run. We will, May promised. The shift back hurt, although not as violently as the first transformation. Bones compressed. Fur disappeared. May's enormous body shrank. Moments later, she knelt naked and shaking on the floor. Douglas immediately removed his shirt and wrapped it around her shoulders. The fabric fell nearly to her knees. Easy. He helped her upright. First shifts drain everything. May stared at him. Gold still flickered inside her human eyes. I have a wolf. Douglas smiled. You have an extraordinary wolf. I'm not broken. You never were. May's voice cracked. All those years, I believed something was wrong with me. I thought the moon goddess had punished me or forgotten me. She was preparing you. Douglas's gaze became intense. And you survived. Terrence spoke. We still have tonight's gathering. Reality returned. If Luna May is making her first official appearance, she cannot arrive dressed as a servant. Raphael nodded. I'll ask Michelle to work with wardrobe. Deanne wiped her eyes. And I will prepare a feast worthy of this transformation. Douglas slipped an arm around May. The gathering begins at sunset. We have 4 hours. He looked down. Rest. No. The word surprised even May. She straightened. No more hiding. If I'm going to face this pack as Luna, I need to prepare. Douglas studied her, then nodded. All right. His alpha voice returned. Terrence, clear the private training grounds. Raphael, inform the council the announcement proceeds as planned. He turned. Find Evan Summers. I want our best protocol instructor teaching May everything she needs before sunset. Diane raised a brow. And me? You tell us everything you know about Bernard wolves. Douglas took May's hand. If she truly descends from the goddess's guardians, then we need to understand more than her physical strength. May intertwined her fingers with his. 4 hours. She breathed slowly. 4 hours until I face the pack that tormented me for 7 years. Douglas squeezed her hand. They won't destroy you. He leaned closer. And more importantly, you won't let them. His forehead touched hers. You're not the frightened maid anymore. His eyes flashed gold. You're a wolf. Inside May, her wolf stirred. He is right. Her voice carried satisfaction. We have been prey long enough. May looked around the tiny room that had imprisoned her life for 7 years. Cracked walls, thin bed, worn rug. Memories of nights spent crying quietly so nobody heard. I'm ready. Chapter 4. The Luna's Education. The private training complex behind Moonstone Pack House felt like another world compared with May's basement room. There was a combat arena, an obstacle course built for shifted wolves, and a secluded garden used for private discussions among leadership. May stood barefoot in the center of the arena wearing Douglas's oversized shirt and borrowed training pants. Every pebble beneath her feet felt unnaturally sharp. Even in human form, her new senses overwhelmed her. She could hear conversations hundreds of yards away. She smelled anxiety from the pack members watching at the edge of the grounds. Sunlight against her skin seemed too bright, too warm, too detailed. You'll adjust, her wolf assured her. First shifts are disorienting. Douglas remained beside May while Terrence and Raphael waited nearby. With them stood Evan Summers, a lean wolf in his 40s with precise gray eyes. Luna May. The title made her tense. We have roughly 3 hours before tonight's gathering. Evan held a tablet. Normally Luna education takes months. We have 3 hours, so I will speak quickly, and you will remember as much as you can. May nodded. Understood. First, hierarchy. Evan displayed an organizational chart. Moonstone Pack contains 412 wolves across 7 territory sectors. Alpha Douglas stands at the top, followed by Beta Terrence and 3rd Raphael. 12 council members oversee security, territory, education, resources, and other functions. May studied the names. Where do I fit? Beside Douglas. She looked up. Not below. No. Evan's answer was immediate. A Luna is the Alpha's equal partner. He gestured toward Douglas. His authority primarily comes through dominance and strength. Yours is traditionally expressed through wisdom, protection, and care for the pack. May almost laughed. I'm not wise. And I have never protected anyone except every Omega here, Terrence interrupted. May stopped. The pups who come to you when they scrape their knees, he continued. The older staff who struggle to finish duties. Wolves nobody else notices. His expression softened. You have been behaving like an unofficial Luna for years. You simply lacked the title. May stared at him. She had never viewed it that way. She had only wanted to remain useful in a world constantly telling her she was useless. Second lesson, Evan said. The gathering. He changed the screen. Tonight has 3 purposes. Douglas announces the mate bond. You are formally presented as Luna, and the pack witnesses your wolf. Raphael opened an ancient leather-bound book. The ceremony follows a tradition that has remained almost unchanged for centuries. He pointed to the page. Douglas presents you and declares the bond. Then you shift in front of the pack. May nodded. And then? Raphael looked at her. Challenges. Her stomach tightened. What kind? Any wolf who believes she should be Luna instead may challenge your right. You mean fight me? Douglas's jaw tightened. Yes. And I can refuse? You can, Douglas answered carefully. But the challenger can then appeal to the council. They decide whether you are fit to remain Luna. His expression hardened. Which means you should not refuse. May stared. So tonight I may have to fight wolves who trained their entire lives. Yes. I shifted less than an hour ago. Yes. May clenched her hands. Douglas did not soften the truth. It will be brutal. Wonderful. But you possess advantages. Such as me. Her wolf surged forward inside her. I have watched these wolves for 23 years. I know how they move. I know their weaknesses. And Bernard wolves were born to fight. Evan nodded. Your wolf is correct. Bernard wolves were legendary combatants. He looked almost fascinated. Your ancestors guarded the moon goddess. They fought creatures that would terrify modern wolves. Meaning, the knowledge may already be part of you. Douglas took May's hand. Trust her. He glanced toward her chest as though he could see the wolf within. She protected herself for 23 years by remaining hidden. Now allow her to protect you by coming out. May hesitated. Instinct was not the same as training, but her wolf's confidence remained absolute. I can handle them. Just don't fight me when it starts. Third lesson, Evan continued. Etiquette. May nearly groaned. As Luna, never display fear openly even when you feel it. Never retreat from confrontation, unless doing so serves a strategic purpose. He paced. During formal events, you stand at Douglas's right. Address members by proper titles until familiarity is given. Then he stopped before her. And remember this above everything else. May met his gaze. Every action you take now reflects on Alpha Douglas. The weight landed immediately. If you appear weak, wolves question his judgment. If you appear strong, his authority strengthens. May looked toward Douglas. I'm going to ruin you. His brows rose. One mistake, one moment of weakness. I could damage everything you spent 12 years building. Then don't be weak. Deanne's voice came from behind them. May turned. The older woman approached carrying a garment bag. I watched you survive 7 years of hell. She stopped in front of May. I watched you keep your compassion while people gave you every reason to become cruel. Her eyes glistened. That is not weakness. Deanne opened the garment bag. May stopped breathing. Inside was a floor-length midnight blue gown, woven with silver threads. White wolves were embroidered across the fabric in intricate lines. The Bernard family crest. Deanne touched the embroidery. Your mother wore a similar dress when she was presented as Luna in her former pack. May stared at her. Mom was a Luna? Before she transferred here. Deanne nodded. I saved the pattern because I hoped I might someday make one for you. May touched the fabric. It was softer than anything she had ever owned. This must have cost. It cost exactly what it needed to. Deanne pressed the gown into her hands. You're not a maid now. She smiled. You're Luna. Movement along the arena drew May's attention. Michelle Tucker approached with 2 she-wolves carrying styling equipment. Michelle was Raphael's mate, and among the few high-ranking females who had always shown May basic respect. Luna May, Michelle bowed. With your permission, we would like to prepare you for the ceremony. Luna May. Not maid, not defective girl. May glanced instinctively at Douglas. He smiled. You're Luna. He spoke gently. You no longer need my permission to make personal choices. If you want their help, accept it. If not, refuse. He glanced toward Michelle. But understand that having the third's mate personally prepare you is both an honor and a public statement of support. May looked at Michelle. I would appreciate your help. Michelle smiled. Good. Then she noticed May's hair. Raphael mentioned the white streak. May touched the section near her right temple. Her hair had always been dark brown except for that one pure white streak. She had spent years hiding it. Michelle shook her head. Don't hide it anymore. She gently separated the white strands. This is your heritage. Over the next 2 hours, Michelle and her assistants worked quickly. They arranged May's hair into an elegant style that displayed the white streak. Makeup sharpened her features without making her unrecognizable. Dark liner emphasized her brown eyes, where flashes of gold now appeared when her wolf moved near the surface. Throughout the process, Evan continued drilling information into her. Names, territories, ranks, ceremonial language. Douglas never left. As sunset approached, Terrence returned. The entire pack is gathering. May's stomach tightened. We expect nearly maximum attendance. 350 wolves, perhaps more. Terrence hesitated. Douglas noticed. What? Visiting alphas arrived. Douglas's expression hardened. Who? Alpha Virgil Bird from the northern pack. Alpha Corey Pierce from the eastern pack. Terrence paused. And Alpha Rodney McKee from the coastal pack. They came fast. Rumors of a Bernard wolf spread faster. Raphael's expression became serious. They want to know whether May is a threat, an opportunity, or both. May looked down as the midnight gown was fitted around her. A Bernard wolf had not emerged publicly in 2 generations. Her existence could change the balance between territories. When Michelle raised the mirror, May barely recognized herself. The servant had vanished. The woman reflected back looked regal, powerful, almost worthy. You're beautiful. Douglas stood behind her, now dressed in formal alpha clothing, black trousers, dark gray shirt, silver rank embroidery at the collar. May swallowed. I'm terrified. Good. Douglas rested both hands on her shoulders. Fear keeps you alert. He turned her toward him. But never let it command you. A gong rang across the territory. The call to gathering. May's wolf stretched eagerly inside her. Time. May straightened. Douglas offered his arm. She took it. Evan gave one final instruction. Remember why you are Luna, not merely because Douglas chose you, not only because your wolf is powerful. He looked directly at her. The moon goddess placed this burden and this gift upon you. May lifted her chin. Walk as though you believe it, even if you're still learning how. May felt her wolf's confidence move through her human body. Let's meet our pack. As they approached the gathering grounds, May heard hundreds of voices. Hundreds of heartbeats. 7 years earlier, she had entered Moonstone broken, desperate, and willing to accept any humiliation for survival. Tonight, she would walk before those same wolves transformed in every sense except one. She remembered every face. Chapter 5. The Gathering. Moonstone's main gathering ground rested within a natural amphitheater carved into the hillside behind the pack house. Stone terraces formed wide circles around a central arena marked by ancient runestones. Torches burned along the pathways. 350 wolves filled the terraces. When May first saw them, her step almost faltered. Knowing the pack would attend was different from seeing hundreds of eyes waiting for her. Curiosity filled the air. So did skepticism, hostility, excitement. Breathe. Douglas tightened his hand around her arm. I'm here. They descended. Conversation died in a wave as wolves noticed them. May heard whispers. That's her. The maid? Look at the dress. That's the Bernard crest. She's tiny. I heard her wolf is enormous. Karen Bernard's daughter? May kept walking. Her wolf paced beneath her skin. Let them doubt. May almost smiled. The visiting alphas sat on the highest terrace. Alpha Virgil Bird was in his 60s, gray hair tied like a warrior, his forearms crossed by old battle scars. He studied May as one military threat might study another. Alpha Corey Pierce was younger, perhaps mid-30s, golden-haired and strikingly handsome. His expression held open curiosity rather than hostility. Then May saw Alpha Rodney McKee. He was enormous, nearly Douglas's size, with dark skin and eyes carrying the weight of age and knowledge. When his gaze touched May, she had the disturbing feeling that he saw directly through her human body to the wolf beneath it. Douglas guided May onto the raised central platform. Terence and Raphael took their places. Evan held the ceremonial text. Dion waited close to the platform, pride shining across her face. Douglas lifted one hand. Absolute silence fell. Moonstone Pack, his voice carried across the amphitheater. Tonight, we witness history. Tonight I present my mate, the wolf chosen by the moon goddess, to stand beside me as Luna. Murmurs spread. May spotted Henrietta and the others on a lower terrace. Their faces were controlled. Their fear sense were not. 7 years ago, Douglas continued, a young woman came to our pack house asking for work. He looked across his wolves. She was orphaned, desperate, believed to be wolfless. May's chest tightened, and we treated her with casual cruelty. We mocked her, diminished her, made her feel worthless because she could not shift. Several wolves avoided his gaze. Tonight we understand the cost of that cruelty. He took May's hand. May Bernard was never truly wolfless. Gasps spread. She is dormant blood. Douglas's voice hardened. A descendant of the Bernard line. Older wolves stood in shock. The first wolves. The goddess's guardians. An elderly male shouted, that line disappeared 30 years ago, and yet she stands here. Douglas did not flinch. May Bernard, daughter of Karen Bernard, inheritor of a bloodline older than Moonstone itself. His eyes swept the terraces. A wolf whose strength grows in proportion to the suffering she survives. Silence. And this pack gave her 7 years of suffering. The meaning was unmistakable. Every wolf who had mocked May was suddenly remembering every word. Douglas stepped forward. I present May Bernard as your Luna, and I invite any wolf who doubts her right to stand beside me to challenge her. Nobody moved. Several breaths passed. Then Jana Powers rose. Her auburn hair caught the torchlight. I challenge Luna May's right to lead. May's wolf growled inside her. Finally, Jana descended. With respect to Alpha Douglas, Moonstone deserves a Luna who has proven herself. Someone trained for leadership. She looked directly at May. Someone who actually knows how to fight. Your challenge is acknowledged, Douglas said formally. His eyes were cold. May Bernard, do you accept? May stepped forward. I accept. Jana smiled. I'll make it quick. You've had a long day. The crowd leaned forward. First blood? Jana asked. Traditional. Simple. One combatant drew blood, and the fight ended. No. Jana's smile weakened. May removed her shoes. Submission or unconsciousness. Gasps exploded through the crowd. You're joking. I'm not. May stared directly at Jana. You stood inside my room today and told me I would never belong here. Her eyes flashed gold. You spent 7 years teaching me that I was worthless. She stepped into the arena. So I won't give you the mercy of first blood. You submit. May's voice hardened. Or you sleep. Douglas spoke quietly behind her. May, you don't have to do this. Yes. She turned toward him. I do. You told me my actions reflect your leadership. If I appear weak to someone who showed me no mercy, everyone watching will remember it. A fierce pride appeared in Douglas's face. He stepped back. Evan raised his voice. Combat continues until submission or unconsciousness. Shift at will. Begin. Jana transformed instantly. Her russet wolf was lean, beautiful, and fast. She had trained since 15. She had tournament victories. Then May shifted. This transformation came faster. White fur swept over her. Her body expanded. Seconds later, the enormous silver-white Bernard wolf stood in the arena. The crowd erupted. She's huge. Moon goddess. Those eyes. Jana's confidence disappeared. Run, May's wolf suggested. It will be more entertaining. Jana ran. May's wolf waited 3 seconds, then attacked. She did not simply chase. She controlled. Every escape route Jana chose vanished before she reached it. May herded her around the arena like prey. When Jana tried squeezing between 2 runestones, May was already waiting. Jana lunged for May's throat. May stepped aside and redirected her momentum. Jana crashed onto her back. Then Jana exposed her belly. Submission. Wait, May thought. She surrendered. Her wolf ignored her. She came into your room intending to hurt you. She needs to understand helplessness. May's enormous jaws closed around Jana's throat. Not enough to tear skin. Enough to make terror fill Jana's eyes. For 10 seconds, May held her there. 10 seconds where Jana's life depended entirely on the mercy of the woman she had spent years humiliating. Then May released her. Jana shifted back and dropped onto her knees. Tiny cuts marked her neck. I submit. She gasped for air. I submit to Luna May. Her head bowed. I acknowledge your right to lead, and I beg forgiveness for how I treated you. May shifted back. Douglas immediately draped a robe around her. Your submission is accepted. May's voice carried across the amphitheater. But forgiveness and forgetting are not the same. She looked down at Jana. You will prove through your future actions that you learned something today. Yes, Luna May. May turned to the crowd. Anyone else? Silence. Then another voice rang out. I challenge. Jacqueline Mullins stepped forward. Her wolf had manifested at 13. Everyone considered her one of Moonstone's most promising fighters. Douglas accepted the formal challenge. May? May's muscles already screamed with exhaustion. She wanted to refuse, but the pack watched closely. Refusing now would allow them to believe she had defeated Jana only because Jana was weaker. I accept. May faced Jacqueline. Same terms. Jacqueline smiled. Good. When Evan called the start, both women shifted. Jacqueline's wolf was midnight black with a white patch across her chest. Smaller than Jana's, but more muscular, and much more disciplined. The second fight was different. Jacqueline did not challenge May's strength directly. She attacked quickly and withdrew. Legs. Flank. Ears. Joints. For the first minute, she succeeded. Several bites opened thin lines of blood across May's white fur. The crowd reacted. May's wolf did not panic. She studied. Every attack revealed a pattern. Jacqueline hesitated slightly before striking, favored her left, retreated repeatedly toward the eastern side. Enough. The next time Jacqueline lunged, May met her head-on. Their bodies collided. They rolled through dirt in a storm of teeth and fur. When they separated, May's jaws held Jacqueline's right foreleg. She had not broken the bone. Yet. Jacqueline pulled. May tightened slightly. The choice was obvious. Continue and lose the leg, or submit and walk away. Pride fought instinct for several seconds. Then Jacqueline went limp. May released immediately. They shifted back. Jacqueline knelt. I submit to Luna May. Her words came through clenched teeth. I acknowledge her right to lead. I apologize for my past behavior. Accepted. May swayed with exhaustion but remained upright. Rise. She met Jacqueline's eyes. And remember something. Intelligence wins more battles than aggression. 2 challenges. May's body begged her to stop. Then Henrietta rose. May tensed. Luna May. Henrietta's face was pale. I'm not challenging you. She descended. I'm here to apologize as Alpha Douglas ordered. Annette followed her. Both women knelt before May. Both exposed their necks. Henrietta's voice trembled. For 7 years I treated you with cruelty I cannot defend. She swallowed. I mocked you for being wolfless. I diminished you. I enjoyed humiliating you. Her head lowered. I was wrong. Annette spoke next. We judged you for something beyond your control. We were arrogant and cruel." She stared at the ground. "We failed to recognize the strength it took for you to survive us." May looked down at them. Once, she would have given anything to witness this moment, but now it felt strangely empty. Their apologies did not erase years of crying herself to sleep. They did not undo the wounds. Power had not changed the past. Her mother had taught her that strength was not merely the ability to punish. Sometimes it meant choosing not to. "I accept your apologies." Henrietta looked up. "But acceptance is not absolution." May's tone remained calm. "You will prove your change." She glanced between them. "For the next 3 months, both of you are assigned to Omega duties." Their eyes widened. "You'll work beside the wolves you ignored and disrespected." Henrietta bowed deeper. "Thank you, Luna May." Douglas stepped forward. "Any other challenges?" "Nothing." He surveyed the crowd. "Then by my authority as Alpha of Moonstone Pack, witnessed by our pack and the visiting Alphas, May Bernard is officially recognized as Luna. Anyone who disrespects her, disrespects me." His dominance filled the amphitheater. "Anyone who threatens her, threatens Moonstone." He looked at May. "He is your Luna." The first howl rose. Then another. Hundreds joined. The amphitheater thundered with acceptance. May's legs finally gave out. Douglas caught her. He lifted her into his arms. "You did it." His voice was against her hair. "You stubborn, impossible, magnificent woman." May's wolf purred. "We did." May corrected him softly. "Together." As Douglas carried her away, the visiting Alphas approached. Virgil Bird smiled first. "Alpha Douglas, congratulations." He looked toward May. "The Bernard bloodline has returned. We should discuss alliance terms. I suspect our political landscape just changed." Corey Pierce laughed. "Changed is putting it lightly." Then Rodney McKee approached. His ancient eyes settled on May. Luna May. Something in his expression made her blood cool. "Your awakening is not coincidence." Douglas became still. Rodney continued. "The moon goddess does not awaken Bernard wolves without reason." He lowered his voice. "Something is coming. Something that requires your power." Before May could ask more, Rodney disappeared back into the crowd. Questions followed him. But for that night, May pushed them aside. She was Luna. She had survived. And for the first time in years, she felt as though she had somewhere she truly belonged. Chapter 6. The Alpha Suite. Douglas carried May through the grand entrance of Moonstone Pack House. Wolves gathered along the halls lowered their heads as she passed. May was so exhausted that keeping her eyes open required effort, yet she forced herself to acknowledge each bow. Only hours earlier, these halls had belonged to people above her. Now servants who once ordered her around stepped aside. Luna May. The words followed her upstairs. "Almost there," Douglas murmured. They reached the 4th floor, the Alpha's private wing. May had never been permitted there. Portraits of past Alphas and Lunas lined the corridor. Douglas stopped before an ornate door. It opened into a suite more luxurious than anything May had ever entered. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked forest and mountain. A massive fireplace burned beside comfortable furniture. Doors led toward a bedroom, bathroom, and office. But the room did not feel staged. Books were stacked on tables. Training schedules hung from a board. Running shoes sat beside the entrance. This was not simply the Alpha Suite. It was Douglas's home, and apparently hers now. Douglas placed May carefully on the couch. He returned from the bedroom carrying soft pajamas. "You need food, a shower, and sleep." His expression allowed no argument. In that order. For once, May did not resist. "Food sounds good." Douglas sent a message. "Deanne is already preparing something." He sat near her without crowding. "How do you really feel?" May leaned her head back. "Like I fought 2 wolves while half dead." She closed her eyes. Like I'm waiting to wake up downstairs and discover none of this happened. Douglas took her hand. You were never worthless. Their fingers intertwined. And you are not dreaming. He glanced around. This is your home now. Ours? If you want. May's heartbeat changed. You expect me to live here? We're mates. Traditionally, Alpha and Luna share quarters. Douglas paused. But tradition doesn't override your comfort. He held her gaze. If you want separate rooms, I will arrange them. I won't force anything. May studied him. He possessed enough authority to command almost anyone in the pack. Yet he kept giving her choices. I'll stay. She hesitated. But there's something you should understand. Douglas waited. I've never had a relationship. Heat rose in her face. I spent my entire life surviving. Romance, intimacy, being someone's mate. I don't know how. Douglas softened. Neither do I. May blinked. I became Alpha 12 years ago. He leaned back. 12 years of powerful families trying to push their daughters toward me. His expression turned bitter. I never wanted someone who saw me as a political prize. He squeezed her hand. You are the first person who saw a man before a throne. May stared at him. So we learned together. Douglas smiled faintly. At your pace. A knock sounded. Deanne entered carrying roasted chicken, vegetables, fresh bread, and an enormous slice of chocolate cake. For our Luna. Her eyes filled with tears. Who survived her first gathering exactly as her mother would have wanted? May's throat tightened. Thank you. She looked at Deanne. For believing in me when nobody else did. Hush. Deanne held her face. You don't thank family for loving you. Then she pointed toward the food. Eat. May obeyed. She devoured the meal with almost embarrassing hunger. Douglas only watched with amusement, occasionally stealing food from her plate. Your wolf is calmer. May turned inward. He was right. Her wolf had finally stopped prowling. We're safe, she murmured. Mate is strong. Territory secure. Pack accepts us. Now we rest. She's satisfied. May smiled weakly. Even though we just made enemies of half the high-ranking women? You did not create enemies. Douglas leaned back. You established dominance. He considered her. Those women now understand you could have destroyed them and chose not to. His voice softened. That is power. May looked through the windows. Patrol wolves moved across the territory. Young wolves trained and played. Older members sat around outdoor fires. Her pack. The responsibility struck suddenly. I don't know how to do this. Douglas looked at her. Tonight was fighting. That part was simple. May gave a tired laugh. But leadership, managing resources, settling disputes, representing 400 wolves? She shook her head. I can barely manage myself. Douglas slipped an arm around her shoulders. You learn the same way I learned. How? By making mistakes. May looked at him. By asking for help. By accepting that sometimes you choose wrong, then taking responsibility and doing better. What if my mistake kills someone? Douglas became serious. Then you carry that weight. His voice remained gentle. You learn from it. He looked at May. Leadership is not perfection. It's accountability. The words settled between them. You've already practiced that for 7 years. May leaned into him. Tell me something. What? What is being Alpha really like? Douglas stared into the fire. Lonely. May waited. Until today, profoundly lonely. His voice became quieter. Every decision affects hundreds of wolves. Every weakness can destabilize the pack. He laughed without humor. I'm supposed to appear invincible. Douglas looked at his hands. But I'm not. May's chest tightened. I'm only another wolf trying to make the right choice and hoping it's enough. It is. May's answer came immediately. Your territory is safe. The pack is thriving. They respect you. They fear me, Douglas corrected. Fear maintains order. It isn't the same as loyalty. He looked at her. That is where you change Moonstone. Me? You understand people I failed to notice. Douglas held her gaze. You have compassion I buried beneath authority. His voice softened. Together, we can lead better than either of us alone. May smiled faintly. I'll make plenty of mistakes. Then we'll make them together. A huge yawn interrupted her. Douglas laughed. Shower, bed. The bathroom looked like a luxury spa compared with anything May knew. Marble floor, large soaking tub, multiple shower heads. Douglas showed her the towels and toiletries, then left her alone. May stood beneath hot water. 7 years of servant grime washed down the drain. Cuts from the gathering already began closing. Her wolf had given her faster healing. When she emerged wrapped in a towel, the bedroom door was partly open. You take the bed, Douglas called. I'll use the couch. May opened the door. The bed was enormous. Don't be ridiculous. Douglas raised an eyebrow. It could fit 4 people. Her face heated. We can share it without, we don't have to do anything. I understand. His smile remained gentle. But you have had enough for one day. He picked up blankets. I'll sleep outside tonight. May's throat tightened at the consideration. Thank you. She changed into soft pajamas that smelled faintly of Douglas. Pine. Steel. Safety. She climbed beneath silk sheets. Her body was exhausted. Her mind refused to stop. Rodney McKee's warning repeated itself. Something is coming. Why would a Bernard Wolf's power be needed? Moonstone had known peace for 3 years. No war was approaching. No major conflict had been reported. A soft knock sounded. May? Douglas's voice. Come in. He entered carrying 2 mugs. Chamomile. Deanne's orders. He sat on the edge of the bed. I could practically hear you thinking from the other room. May wrapped both hands around the tea. Rodney's warning. Douglas's expression darkened. Do you think he knows something? Rodney is more than 80 years old and has contacts across the continent. Douglas paused. If anyone has early information, it would be him. What information? There have been reports. May waited. Rogues gathering near northern borders. That happens. Not like this. Douglas shook his head. Organized movements. Groups behaving with coordination. His jaw tightened. And disappearances. Disappearances? Pack wolves from remote territories vanishing without explanation. Cold ran through May. You think my transformation is connected? I think Bernard wolves do not wake without reason. Douglas looked directly at her. If your ancestors were created to fight threats ordinary wolves could not handle, your wolf emerging now may mean she knows you will need that strength. May lowered her mug. So yesterday I was serving food. A nervous laugh escaped. Now I may be expected to fight some unknown supernatural threat. I'm saying we prepare. Douglas took her hand. We train you, learn what your wolf can do, strengthen alliances. His thumb moved over her fingers. And whatever comes, you do not face it alone. May let the bond's warmth settle her fear. Together. Together. Douglas bent and kissed her forehead. Chaste. Gentle. Promising nothing she had not yet chosen. Sleep, Luna. He stood. Tomorrow your real training begins. After he left, exhaustion finally claimed May. Her last conscious thought was her mother's message. Trust your mate. The moon goddess does not make mistakes. For the first time in 23 years, May began to believe those words. Whatever came next, she intended to be ready. Chapter 7. The Luna's Training. Sunlight poured through the floor-to-ceiling windows when May woke. For several seconds, the silk sheets confused her. Then memory returned. Her transformation. The gathering. The challenges. She was Luna. Her body protested when she sat up. Every muscle hurt. But beneath the soreness, she felt stronger, more solid. Her wolf stretched lazily inside her consciousness. Morning. May smiled. Ready to learn how to use this body properly? I defeated 2 wolves yesterday. You defeated 2 wolves who underestimated us. Her wolf sounded unimpressed. Against trained enemies trying to kill us, instinct alone will not be enough. The bedroom opened. Douglas entered carrying eggs, bacon, fruit, and coffee. You're awake. His smile softened his entire face. I was beginning to think I would have to drag you out of bed. May looked at the clock. 7:30. Is that late? Not especially. Douglas placed breakfast before her. But today is full. He sat beside her. How are you? Sore. Overwhelmed. May reached for coffee. And still expecting someone to tell me yesterday was a fever dream. Douglas touched her hand. The mate bond sparked warmly. Very real. He smiled. And today becomes harder. May groaned. Combat with Terrence. Pack management with Raphael. Diplomacy with Evan. He paused. And this afternoon I want you to meet the Omegas. May stopped. The wolves I used to work with? Exactly. Douglas became serious. Some will celebrate you. Some may resent you. Some may believe you abandoned them. The responsibility returned. You need to show them that their Luna sees them. May ate quietly. After breakfast, Douglas took her to another basement. Unlike the damp corridor where she had lived, this was a reinforced combat facility. Training mats covered the ground. Weapons lined the walls. Terrence waited in training clothes. Luna May. He flexed his hands. Ready to learn how to actually fight? May bristled. I fought yesterday. You won against 2 wolves who underestimated you. Jana is a tournament fighter. Tournaments have rules. Terrence began wrapping his wrists. Real enemies do not. He looked straight at her. I'm teaching you to survive opponents who are larger, faster, more experienced, and trying to kill you. Douglas squeezed her shoulder. Listen to him. Then he glanced at Terrence. He kept me alive during the Northern Pack War when I was young and stupid. Terrence grinned. You're still stupid. Douglas left. The grin vanished. Shift. May transformed. The change already felt smoother. Her enormous white wolf stood on the mat. Terrence circled. Your stance is too wide. May adjusted. Better. Tail too high. You're broadcasting aggression. He demonstrated. Now mirror me. Never let me behind you. For an hour, he drilled her on movement, distance, position, spatial awareness. It humbled her quickly. Raw strength meant nothing when Terrence could read every attack before May completed it. You announce your lunges. He dodged again. Your back legs tighten almost a full second before you move. May shifted back, sweating and irritated. How do I stop? Practice. Terrence tossed her water. You possess strong instincts. Your wolf carries ancestral combat knowledge. He pointed at her. But organized enemies will exploit mistakes. You need technique beneath the power. They worked another hour. Defense. Efficient strikes. Using her size without surrendering speed. When Douglas returned, May was bruised, exhausted, and annoyed. Terrence looked pleased. Fast learner. Douglas's pride flowed through their bond. In a few weeks, she may be fighting near alpha level. She's already formidable. Douglas looked at May. But yes, continue. After a shower and lunch, Raphael led May to the administrative wing. Compared with the alpha suite, it was plain. Desks. Computers. Paperwork. Filing cabinets. Raphael gestured around. Most Luna work looks like this. May's face fell. Not dramatic enough? He smiled. Resource distribution, healthcare coordination, education, welfare, internal conflicts. He opened a thick binder. The Alpha focuses heavily on outside security. The Luna focuses on the well-being inside the pack. May turned pages. Elderly wolves needing assistance. Families struggling financially. Disabled wolves requiring accommodations. Orphaned pups waiting for foster homes. There were dozens. This is overwhelming. Yes. Raphael did not pretend otherwise. But you will have staff. He explained that Michelle was building a team with backgrounds in medicine, education, and social support. You make decisions. You do not carry every case alone. They spent 2 hours studying pack policies and budgets. Raphael eventually became quiet. Douglas's mother was the previous Luna. May looked up. She excelled here. Raphael's expression grew sad. She died 8 years ago. Douglas tried to perform Alpha and Luna duties together. He shook his head. No wolf can maintain both indefinitely. Internal systems suffered. May absorbed another impossible expectation. She was not only becoming Luna, she was replacing someone Moonstone had loved. I don't know if I can fill that place. Raphael softened. You have done smaller versions of this work for years. May frowned. You helped Omegas who struggled with duties. You settled staff arguments. You cared for pups when their parents were unavailable. He smiled. You already understand service. Now the scale changes. The thought steadied her. Then Evan arrived. Diplomatic protocol proved worse than combat. They moved to a formal meeting room. When visiting Alphas arrive, you stand 1 step behind Douglas and to his right. Evan corrected May's posture. You acknowledge them without exposing your neck. What if they bring Lunas? Equal greeting, slight bow. And if they come alone? Formal distance unless they establish otherwise. May rubbed her forehead. Why does everything have a rule? Because one wrong movement between powerful wolves can become insult, challenge, or diplomatic crisis. Evan showed no mercy. He corrected angles of bows, titles, timing, greetings, responses to challenges. By late afternoon, May felt more exhausted from etiquette than from fighting. Douglas finally appeared. One last responsibility. May groaned. The Omegas are waiting. That sobered her instantly. The common room occupied part of the ground floor. 30 wolves waited inside. Conversation stopped when May entered. She knew every face. Dianan smiled proudly. Jimmy Hunter, the groundskeeper who had taught May about local plants, stared uncertainly. Frida Clay, an elderly laundry worker who once slipped May extra blankets through brutal winters, watched closely. Doug Mercer, who had defended May from harassment more than once, stood near the wall. Joy, confusion, resentment. May smelled all of it. She stepped forward. I know this is strange. Nobody answered. Yesterday I worked beside you. May looked around. Today I'm Luna. She breathed. But I have not forgotten where I came from. Still silence. I remember every wolf who helped me when no one else did. Her voice strengthened. And gaining power does not mean I intend to abandon you. Frida slowly stood. With respect, Luna May. May nodded. How do we know? The question was painful because it was fair. How do we know you won't become exactly like the other high-ranking wolves and stop seeing us? May met Frida's eyes. You don't. Several wolves reacted. I can promise anything, May continued. But promises are easy. She glanced at Deanne. So I'll show you instead. Her wolf hummed approvingly. Effective today, Omega working conditions change. May pointed gently toward Deanne. Deanne, you are formally head of household operations. You receive authority to hire more staff and raise wages. Deanne's mouth opened. Jimmy, the territory maintenance budget triples. Jimmy stared. You will finally get the equipment you have requested for years. May turned. Frida, the elderly woman straightened. You're retiring. Frida's face fell. On full pack pension. The room went silent. And after 50 years of service, Moonstone will give you the retirement celebration you earned. Gasps. Someone protested. The council will never approve this. The council answers to pack leadership. May's voice became firm. And I am telling them that the wolves who keep this house running deserve proper compensation. Doug Mercer stood. But Omegas are lower rank for a reason. We're not warriors. You're essential. May's answer cut through the room. A pack that values only fighters is weak. She looked at them all. Every wolf matters. Her voice softened. I'm not asking you to forget that I was one of you. She paused. I'm asking you to trust that I remember. Emotion broke through the room. Some cheered, some cried. Others remained skeptical but listened. Deanne crossed the room and wrapped May in her arms. Your mother would be proud. Later, Douglas found May in the Alpha Suite, staring through the windows at evening settling over Moonstone. You did well. He sat beside her. The Omegas have been neglected too long. May looked at him. I made huge promises. You identified real problems. But can I keep those promises? May turned toward him. Will the council approve those budget increases? Douglas smiled slightly. The council will approve them because I am telling them to support your initiatives. His arm settled around her shoulders. You're already thinking like a Luna. May leaned against him. This is harder than fighting. How? A fight ends. Somebody wins. Somebody loses. She watched the territory below. But decisions affect hundreds of lives. Welcome to leadership. Douglas gave a humorless laugh. It becomes more terrifying from here. The full moon rose. Her wolf settled contentedly. We survived today. May closed her eyes. Tomorrow, we become stronger. Yet something inside her warned that the easiest part might already be behind them. Chapter 8. The Rogue Warning. 3 weeks passed. May's life became a demanding rhythm. Mornings belonged to combat training with Terrence. Afternoons to pack administration under Raphael. Evenings to diplomacy with Evan. Her body adapted. Her wolf became stronger, more controlled, and more confident. Nights belonged to Douglas. They ate together inside the Alpha Suite, talked quietly, learned one another's histories and habits. The mate bond deepened naturally. They still had not consummated it. Douglas never pushed. May appreciated that more than she could explain. But the pull between them increased every day. One night, they sat on the balcony overlooking Moonstone. Douglas traced circles across May's palm. You're improving. Terrence says that? You hit him 3 times today. May smiled. He was being gentle. He wasn't. Douglas looked amused. I watched the final 15 minutes. His pride warmed the bond. You're hiding your attacks better. Your speed is improving. He leaned back. In another month, you could hold your own against most beta-level fighters. Once, May had believed she could never fight at all. Douglas? He heard the seriousness in her tone. What happens if Rodney's warning was right? Douglas's expression changed. If the rogue situation becomes a real threat, we fight together. He looked toward the dark horizon. The visiting alphas agreed to mutual defense. If one territory is attacked, the others respond. But, Douglas hesitated. May noticed. But ordinary rogues don't explain your awakening. Cold entered her stomach. Bernard wolves were created for threats normal wolves could not face. He turned toward her. Demons. Dark magic. Creatures from stories most modern wolves no longer believe. You think something supernatural is involved. I think we prepare for anything. May's wolf suddenly surged forward. Danger. At the same instant, Douglas went rigid. His eyes flashed gold. Something's wrong. They spoke together. Douglas's phone erupted with alerts. Terrence called. Douglas answered instantly. Report. Shouting came through the phone. Growls. Combat. Eastern border. Terrence sounded breathless. One rogue crossed into Moonstone territory. But Alpha, this wolf is wrong. A scream cut through the line. Terrence cursed. It killed Christopher Wagner. Douglas stood, tore his throat out before we could react. It moves too fast. We need backup. Douglas was already stripping off his shirt as he moved toward the door. May followed. Stay here. Alpha authority pressed behind his command. May stopped. Her wolf snarled. Absolutely not. May looked at Douglas. That is my pack too. He turned. My responsibility. For 1/10 second, May expected him to command her again. Instead, something like pride entered his expression. Then shift. We run together. They transformed in the hallway. Douglas's wolf emerged huge and dark. May's silver-white wolf appeared beside him. Stay close. Douglas spoke through their bond. Do not engage until I assess the threat. They raced from the pack house. Raphael and security wolves joined. The eastern border lay beyond a ridge overlooking a valley where Moonstone territory ended. When May reached the ridge, she stopped. Blood covered the ground. Christopher Wagner lay motionless. His throat was destroyed. 3 patrol wolves were injured, and between them moved something that looked almost like a wolf. Almost. The rogue was enormous, covered in filthy black fur. Its eyes glowed sickly red rather than gold. Black veins spread beneath exposed skin. Its movements were wrong. Too quick. Too sharp. Like a puppet operated by something that did not understand bodies. May's wolf raised her hackles. Corrupted. Douglas approached. His dominance rolled outward. A normal rogue should have submitted. The creature turned toward him and laughed. The sound did not belong inside any wolf throat. Alpha Douglas. Its voice seemed to contain several voices at once. The Bernard wolf awakened. May went cold. How predictable. The creature smiled. The creature smiled. My master will be pleased. Douglas bared his fangs. Who is your master? Someone who remembers the old ways. The red eyes shifted toward May. Someone who knows what Bernard blood truly is. It stepped forward. Someone who intends to reclaim what was stolen from him centuries ago. Before anyone reacted, it lunged toward May. The speed was supernatural. Terrence's lessons saved her. May dodged left. She redirected the creature rather than absorbing its weight. But claws raked across her shoulder. Pain exploded. Not ordinary pain. Burning. Like acid inside her flesh. May howled. Douglas roared. He slammed into the corrupted rogue. His jaws went for its throat. The creature bent impossibly and tore claws across Douglas's face. 3 deep wounds opened. Everyone back. Douglas's order thundered through the pack bond. This is beyond normal combat. May ignored him. The burning in her shoulder transformed into rage. Her wolf's voice became calm. Dark magic. May froze. Shadow corruption. Normal wolves cannot resist it. But Bernard wolves were created for this. Something inside May understood. Not learned knowledge. Inherited knowledge. Silver light began glowing through her white fur. The rogue looked uncertain. You don't know how to use that. Its voice hissed. You transformed weeks ago. May's wolf stepped toward it. You're a child with weapons you don't understand. Maybe. Her wolf smiled inside May's mind. Let us discover what they do together. May lunged. The creature attempted to dodge. It could not. Silver light had wrapped around its legs like chains. Confusion flashed through the red eyes. May circled it. Bernard wolves possess more than physical strength. The moon goddess gave us light, and true darkness cannot survive where that light reaches. May opened her jaws. Silver radiance poured outward. Every watching wolf turned away from the brightness. The creature screamed. Black veins burned beneath its skin. Corrupted flesh dissolved. My master will come. Its voice weakened. He remembers you. May held the light. May held the light. He will reclaim the power your bloodline stole. Its red stare locked onto her. Tell the Bernard wolf she is marked. The creature convulsed. She belongs to him now. Then it dissolved into ash. Wind carried the remains away. May collapsed. Douglas reached her instantly. Are you injured? I'm alive. The wound still burned. What did it mean? May looked at him. What did my bloodline supposedly steal? Terrence approached Christopher's body. Grief rolled through the pack bond. Christopher is dead. The reality struck May harder than any claw. A member of her pack had died. Douglas felt the guilt immediately. This is not your fault. His voice entered their bond firmly. Whoever sent that creature killed him, not you. Raphael shifted. We need stronger borders. Douglas nodded. Triple patrols. Reinforce wards. Establish watch positions. Then he looked at May. And we learn everything possible about Bernard history. They returned to Moonstone carrying Christopher's body. Fear spread through the pack. May shifted inside the Alpha suite. The 3 gashes across her shoulder still glowed faintly with dark energy. Douglas examined them. They aren't healing, because this isn't a normal wound. May clenched her jaw as he cleaned it. I burned most of the corruption away. She breathed through another wave of pain. But some entered my blood. Douglas stood. We need a healer. Number. May's wolf forced the thought forward. Normal healers cannot touch shadow corruption. It will infect them. May repeated the warning. Douglas's face hardened. Then what do we do? I purge it. How? May closed her eyes. The knowledge waited inside her. I meditate. Pull the goddess's light through my body and burn the corruption from within. Douglas stared. That sounds dangerous. So is leaving poison inside me. May met his eyes. Trust my wolf. He clearly hated it, but eventually nodded. I stay. May settled onto the floor. If something goes wrong, I'll feel it through the bond. Douglas sat close. May turned inward. The corruption spread through her bloodstream like black ink. Focus on the light. Her wolf guided her. Remember your first transformation. May searched for silver radiance. At first, only a faint glow appeared in her chest. Then it spread. The dark corruption recoiled. Pain struck immediately. May's body convulsed. Light and darkness fought inside her. Douglas's hands seized her shoulders. His voice came from somewhere distant. May. She could not answer. More. Her wolf demanded. Everything. May reached deeper. Silver light flooded through every cell. The corruption burned. Fought. Then broke. Darkness dissolved. May opened her eyes. Douglas held her against him. Tears streaked his face. May had never imagined seeing Alpha Douglas MacDonald cry. Never do that again. His voice was hoarse. You stopped breathing. May tried to focus. For 30 seconds. His arms tightened. I thought I lost you. I'm okay. The corruption? Gone. Douglas pressed her against his chest. We need answers. His heartbeat hammered against her ear. Because whoever sent that creature knows exactly what you are. He looked down at her. And they are coming for you. May's consciousness faded toward sleep. One thought remained. The real fight had not begun. Chapter 9. The Ancient Truth. May woke with Douglas's arm wrapped protectively around her waist. Sunlight filled the room. She had slept through the night and well into morning. Her shoulder ached. The wounds had finally closed. Only 3 pale scars remained. Douglas opened his eyes immediately when she moved. How do you feel? Like I fought a supernatural nightmare. May touched her shoulder. But alive. Douglas covered her hand. You stopped breathing. His face remained haunted. Your heart stopped for several seconds. May looked at him. I felt you dying through the mate bond. His voice lowered. And I could do nothing. She turned toward him. I'm sorry. I didn't know the purge would be that violent. Then she remembered. But we learned something. Douglas frowned. I can remove shadow corruption. At the cost of nearly killing yourself. His jaw tightened. Not acceptable. A knock interrupted them. Terrence's voice came from outside. Alpha. Luna, you need to see this. They dressed quickly. Terrence waited in the living room holding an ancient leather-bound book. Diane stood beside him. After last night, I searched through storage. She touched the book. It came from a trunk belonging to Karen. May stared. One of the few things your mother brought when she transferred here. Diane handed it over. The cover displayed the same white wolf symbol embroidered onto May's Luna gown. May opened the brittle pages. Douglas leaned over her shoulder. She began reading. The Bernard bloodline had not always carried the goddess's blessing. Centuries earlier, they had been powerful but ordinary wolves. Then, in the year 1247, darkness threatened all wolfkind. An entity known as the Shadow King emerged from the void between worlds. Pure corruption given form. His influence turned wolves into mindless servants. He poisoned souls. His power spread until even the moon goddess's children faced destruction. Helena Bernard made a bargain. She offered herself as the goddess's champion in exchange for the power needed to fight him. The price would follow every generation after her. Bernard descendants would be born with dormant wolves. Their transformations would come only after they had endured enough suffering and developed enough strength. Their power would always carry personal cost. The goddess accepted. She filled Helena with divine light. It made her immune to corruption. It gave her the ability to destroy shadow-touched creatures. Helena led wolf armies against the Shadow King. Their battle lasted 3 days and 3 nights. Eventually she sealed him inside the void. But the Shadow King swore revenge. He promised to return, to reclaim the power he believed Helena had stolen, to corrupt the Bernard line and turn divine light against the wolves it had protected. For 700 years, Bernard wolves remained vigilant. They carried suffering because their suffering purchased protection for every other wolf. May slowly closed the book. The Shadow King. Douglas's expression was grim. That's who sent the corrupted rogue. May stared at the cover. He believes Helena stole power from him. She stole nothing. Douglas's voice was immediate. She sacrificed herself and every descendant after her to save wolfkind. Terrence folded his arms. But the Shadow King is awake. Raphael entered with Michelle. And he knows May has transformed. Michelle carried a tablet. I searched historical records. She pulled up old reports. There's a pattern whenever a Bernard wolf awakens. May looked. Corrupted wolves, strange shadows, disappearances. Michelle nodded. The most recent documented Bernard transformation was Karen's. When, 33 years ago, Michelle changed the display. Within 6 months, the Northern Territory War began. Douglas frowned. That war supposedly started over resources. Records mention shadow-touched wolves fighting with northern rogues. May's breath caught. My mother fought in that war. She remembered old medals found after Karen's death. She was decorated. Because she was fighting corruption, Douglas realized. He looked at May. She pushed the Shadow King back into dormancy. And now she's gone. May finished the thought. I'm newly transformed. She swallowed. Untrained. Vulnerable. Deanne removed another paper from Karen's trunk. A letter. May recognized the handwriting instantly. My dearest daughter, if you are reading this, then my deepest fear has come true. You transformed, and the Shadow King returned. I prayed you might live your entire life without awakening your wolf. I hoped you could escape the burden carried by our family. But the goddess chose differently. You must understand that the Shadow King cannot truly be killed. He is eternal darkness made conscious. As long as shadow exists, so will he. But he can be sealed. 3 sacred sites exist across the territories. places where the moon goddess's power remains strongest. If a Bernard wolf reaches all three and activates the ancient wards, the Shadow King can be forced back into the void for another generation. You cannot accomplish this alone. You need allies. Alphas willing to risk their packs beside you. You must master powers you barely understand. And you must survive. The Shadow King will send corrupted wolves, shadow creatures, possibly possessed pack members who do not even realize they serve him. Trust no one absolutely except your mate. The mate bond is divine and cannot be corrupted. I wish I could train you. I wish I could stand beside you. Instead, I can only tell you what my mother once told me. Bernard wolves are not cursed. We are blessed. Blessed to stand between darkness and light. Blessed to protect those who cannot protect themselves. Blessed to serve something greater than ourselves. Be brave. Be strong. Every Bernard woman who came before you stands with you beyond the veil. You have never been alone. All my love. Mom. Tears moved down May's face. Her mother had known this could happen. Douglas wrapped an arm around her shoulders. 3 sacred sites. He looked toward Deanne. We identify them. Moonstone Ridge. Deanne answered immediately. The pack was founded there 400 years ago. She became thoughtful. Wounds heal faster there. Wolves feel stronger. Corruption has never taken root. Raphael nodded. Silverfall Caverns in Eastern Territory. He looked at Michelle. Alpha Cori called them sacred ground. Shadow creatures supposedly cannot approach within a mile. Michelle added, the Celestial Grove in coastal territory. May remembered Rodney McKee. His pack's sacred site? Yes. Michelle nodded. Legend says the moon goddess walked there after the first full moon. Douglas counted silently. 3 sites, 3 territories. Terrence's face hardened. Meaning we transport May through open ground while the Shadow King hunts her. We turn the movement into a military operation, Raphael answered. Full security. Wards. Patrols. How much time do we have? May looked at Deanne. According to the histories, roughly 6 months after a Bernard transforms. For what? The goddess's blessing fully manifests. Deanne's expression became serious. After that, Bernard wolves become nearly impossible for the Shadow King to corrupt directly. Douglas understood. He has a deadline, which means he'll escalate. May stood. Her exhaustion disappeared beneath determination. Then we stop waiting. Douglas looked at her. We begin with Moonstone Ridge. It's inside our territory. May's eyes flashed gold. We activate the first ward while he is still regrouping. You nearly died yesterday. Douglas stepped closer. You need recovery. We don't have time. May, Christopher died because we weren't ready. Her voice cracked, but she held his gaze. I won't let more wolves die while I hide and train comfortably. Douglas stared at her. Conflict moved through the mate bond. Finally, he nodded. Your timeline. Relief moved through May. But we prepare properly. Douglas's alpha authority returned. Maximum security, and if you become overwhelmed, we retreat. Understood. Terrence calculated. We can reach Moonstone Ridge tonight. Douglas nodded. Call an emergency council meeting for noon. He looked toward the others. Any wolf who chooses not to join this fight will be allowed to stay behind. His expression turned hard. But anyone who comes understands that the enemy does not obey normal rules. The others left. May remained at the window. Somewhere outside, the Shadow King gathered his forces. Weeks earlier, May would have trembled. Now her wolf rose inside her. Let him come. Let him discover what happens when someone threatens a Bernard woman's family. Douglas took May's hand. Whatever happens at the ridge, she turned. Finding you has been the greatest gift the moon goddess ever gave me. May's breath caught. My mate. He squeezed her fingers. My Luna. His eyes softened. My equal. The bond warmed. I will stand beside you against anything. His voice lowered. You will never be alone again. May leaned toward him. Together. Always. Chapter 10. The Moonstone Ritual. 12 council members gathered around the ancient oak table. The emergency meeting carried enough tension that May's wolf paced restlessly beneath her skin. Many of the wolves seated there had watched May scrub their floors only weeks earlier. Now she stood beside Douglas, asking them to believe a 700-year-old warning about an entity of living darkness. Clinton Archer, the council's eldest member at 78, spoke first. His silver hair and scarred face revealed decades of battle. Let me understand. He looked toward May. The Bernard bloodline exists to protect wolves from an ancient entity called the Shadow King. Yes, Douglas said. And that entity has returned specifically because Luna May transformed? Yes. Clinton frowned. Ricky Kelly, a middle-aged council wolf known for political ambition, leaned forward. Or perhaps one diseased rogue crossed our border and got lucky. Douglas's stare chilled. Ricky continued anyway. We're preparing a military response based on legends and writings left by a dead she-wolf. He gestured toward May. How do we even know these sacred sites exist? May stepped forward. Because I felt shadow corruption inside my own bloodstream. The room quieted. I felt it trying to consume me. She held Ricky's gaze. And divine light destroyed it. Kevin Robinson, Moonstone's senior healer, nodded. I examined Luna May this morning. He looked toward the others. Her shoulder scars contain residual magical energy unlike anything I've encountered in 40 years. Ricky shook his head. That proves an unknown disease, not an ancient king of darkness. Douglas's dominance slammed across the room. Every wolf instinctively lowered their neck. Enough. I did not summon this council to debate whether the threat exists. His voice became cold. Tonight, I take a security team to Moonstone Ridge. He placed one hand on the table. Luna May will attempt to activate the first ward. Ricky stared. You're exposing the pack to enormous risk for an untested theory. He already knows where I am. May's voice was quiet. Every face turned toward her. He sent a creature into our territory. She thought of Christopher. He killed one of us. Her jaw tightened. Whether we act or wait, he is coming. May looked around the council. The only choice is whether we meet him on our terms or his. Silence. Clinton Archer slowly stood. Luna May is correct. Ricky looked at him. If she is wrong, we waste one night investigating a legend. The old warrior straightened. If she is right, waiting could destroy us. He nodded toward Douglas. I volunteer. Kevin stood next. So do I. One after another, council members agreed. Some eager. Some afraid. Some reluctant. Ricky remained seated. You're making a mistake. Douglas's eyes flashed. Noted. He pointed to the door. And you will not join this mission. After the meeting, preparation became military. Terrence selected 20 of Moonstone's best fighters. Several had served in the Northern Territory War beside Karen Bernard. Raphael coordinated scouts around Moonstone Ridge. Early warning positions were established. Michelle worked with the pack's limited magic users to build protective wards. As sunset approached, Deanne pulled May aside. I have something. She opened her hand. A silver pendant rested on her palm. A delicate wolf shaped from silver, with eyes made of tiny moonstone pieces. This belonged to Karen. May's fingers trembled. She wore it in battle. Deanne's voice thickened. It passed through generations of Bernard women. May touched the pendant. Warmth spread through her. Her wolf stirred. Mother, the scent is faint. But it remains. May fastened it around her neck. Thank you. She looked at Deanne. For keeping everything safe. Deanne suddenly pulled May into a tight embrace. For being the daughter I never had. May's eyes filled. Deanne stepped back. Your mother would be bursting with pride. Sunset turned the sky amber and red. 20 wolves assembled in the courtyard. Douglas stood at the center. When he looked at May, the alpha disappeared for a moment, leaving only her worried mate. Last opportunity to change your mind. May shook her head. We can't wait. I know. Douglas cupped her face. Then promise me you'll retreat if this becomes impossible. I promise to listen to my instincts. May held his gaze. But I also promise I will do what is necessary to protect this pack. Douglas clearly disliked the distinction. Finally, he kissed her forehead. Then let's activate a sacred ward. His eyes flashed. And remind the Shadow King what happens when he threatens a Bernard woman. They shifted. 22 wolves moved beneath the fading daylight. May's white form stood like moonlight among darker coats. Stay in formation, Douglas ordered through the pack bond. Luna at the center. Security around her. They ran. For the first time, May experienced the full synchronization of a pack moving together. Their awareness overlapped. Individual movement became collective instinct. She finally understood leadership differently. Being Luna was not merely standing above these wolves. It was running among them, breathing with them, feeling responsible for every heartbeat around her. Moonstone Ridge appeared ahead. Silvery gray stone reflected moonlight in an unnatural way. At its summit stood an ancient stone circle older than the pack itself. As May approached, her mother's pendant heated against her chest. She felt a pull, invisible. Ancient. This is it, her wolf said. The goddess is here. They climbed. The full moon bathed the summit in silver. May shifted back. Douglas, Terence, and Raphael changed beside her. The others remained in wolf form, guarding the perimeter. 12 massive standing stones formed a perfect ring. Unknown symbols covered each surface. At the center sat a flat altar stone worn smooth by centuries. What do you do? Douglas kept his voice low. May closed her eyes. Her wolf reached into memories that did not belong only to May. Ancestors, ritual, instinct. I stand in the center. She opened her eyes. Hands on the altar. Then she looked toward the stones. I channel the light into the earth and awaken protections placed here centuries ago. How long? I don't know. Terence glanced toward the perimeter. Then we hold for however long it takes. May entered the circle. Her palms touched cold stone. Power surged through her. She gasped. 700 years. She could feel them. Bernard women who had stood in that same place. Helena, Karen, names forgotten by history. Their strength remained inside the stone. We are with you. Voices whispered beyond the veil. Complete what we began. May released her light. Silver radiance flowed through her palms. Symbols appeared across the altar. Then one standing stone illuminated. Another. Another. Until all 12 burned with pale light. Then the Shadow King attacked. Creatures poured from the darkness. Dozens. Wolf-shaped only in the loosest sense. Their bodies twisted beneath corruption. Red eyes glowed. Defensive positions. Douglas's voice thundered across the pack bond. Do not let them reach Luna May. 20 moonstone wolves faced at least 50 corrupted creatures. The battle exploded. May forced herself to remain focused. Light continued flowing into the altar. But through the pack bond, she felt every injury, every impact. Every wolf pushed toward exhaustion. Clinton Archer fell first. 3 creatures overwhelmed him. Kevin Robinson went down moments later while attempting to help another wounded wolf. May's concentration broke. Her light flickered. We're losing them. Her wolf howled inside her. Don't stop. Douglas fought 4 corrupted wolves at once. Blood covered him. The ward is close, but the defensive line was breaking. Corrupted wolves moved closer. Then something larger emerged from the darkness. It was not a wolf. It stood like a man formed entirely from living shadow. Red eyes burned inside a faceless darkness. Bernard Wolf. The voice contained many voices. May knew it immediately. The Shadow King. You believe one ward will stop me? The darkness moved. I am eternal. Its attention fixed completely on May. You are a child playing with a power you do not understand. He lifted one hand. The corrupted creatures attacked with renewed madness. Moonstone's line collapsed. Wolves screamed. Blood stained sacred stone. May felt something inside herself begin to break. Her wolves. Her responsibility. They were dying because she was not powerful enough. Not experienced enough. Not fast enough. No. A woman's voice spoke beside her. Not her wolf. Her mother. You are enough. May's breathing stopped. You have always been enough. Karen's voice seemed to stand directly behind her. Stop fearing your own power. May opened her eyes. They blazed silver. Until then, she had carefully channeled light into one ancient ward. Careful control was no longer enough, so May stopped holding back. Every ounce of divine power inside her, every fragment gained through 23 years of suffering, every inheritance from 7 centuries of Bernard women. May released all of it. Silver light detonated from her body. The explosion was visible for miles. Radiance flooded the stone circle, the ridge, the surrounding territory. It swept across Moonstone wolves, across Douglas, across the corrupted army. Where divine light touched corruption, darkness ceased to exist. The shadow creatures dissolved like mist beneath the sun. No ash, no remains, nothing. The Shadow King screamed. Divine light burned through his manifestation. This is not finished, Bernard Wolf. His form tore apart. I will return. The void dragged him backward. You cannot contain me forever, his voice echoed. Your line will fall. Then he vanished. The silver light slowly faded. May swayed. Every reserve was empty. Douglas caught her before she reached the ground. He was battered, bleeding, alive. You did it. His voice shook with wonder. The ward is active. May struggled to focus. The wounded. She looked desperately around. Are they? The light healed them. Terrence approached. His expression was stunned. May looked. Wolves who had been torn open only moments earlier now stood completely whole. No wounds. No scars. Clinton Archer stepped forward. Here, Luna. May stared. The 78-year-old wolf looked decades younger. Old scars had faded. His body appeared stronger. Kevin Robinson knelt. Tears streamed down his face. I was dying. His voice broke. I felt my heart stop. He looked up at May. Then your light touched me. And I came back. May could barely process it. She had not simply activated the ward. Her power healed. Protected. Destroyed corruption absolutely. She finally understood what Helena Bernard had become centuries earlier. A guardian. Douglas helped May stand. Through the mate bond came an emotion so strong that it stole her breath. Love. You are incredible. His words belonged only to her. Absolutely incredible. May laughed weakly. I'm exhausted. Then I'm carrying you home. Douglas lifted her. As they descended the ridge, guarded by their pack, May's wolf finally relaxed. 1 ward, 2 remain. But tonight, we survived. May rested her head against Douglas. The Shadow King had retreated. He would return. His threat made that certain. But when he did, May would no longer face him as the frightened servant who once believed she carried nothing inside her. She had a mate. A pack. A power she was only beginning to understand. And at last, she knew who she was. May Bernard, guardian of the moon goddess, defender of wolves against the darkness. Her story was nowhere near finished. 3 days later, May stood before Moonstone Pack inside the Grand Hall. Her body had recovered. Her confidence had changed. The Moonstone Ward is active. Hundreds listened. But two sacred sites remain. May looked from face to face. In 1 week, we travel to the Silverfall Caverns in Eastern Territory. She paused. After that, the Celestial Grove in Coastal Territory. The hall remained silent. The Shadow King will try to stop us. Her voice carried authority that once would have seemed impossible. The battles ahead may test every wolf who joins us. May breathed. I will not order anyone to come. She looked at warriors, healers, elders. This mission is voluntary. Then her voice strengthened. But if you stand with me, we will force the Shadow King back into the void for another generation. Her wolf surged proudly. We will protect Moonstone. She lifted her chin. And every wolf beyond it. Howls began. We will prove that light is stronger than darkness. More wolves joined. That courage is stronger than fear. The hall thundered. And that a united pack cannot be broken. Douglas stepped beside her. His hand found hers. For Moonstone Pack, the wolves roared. For Luna May. May squeezed Douglas's fingers. For all wolves. The howls shook the hall. As relief and celebration filled Moonstone, May sensed something vast beyond ordinary perception. The moon goddess, watching, approving. 2 wards remained, 2 journeys, 2 battles still waited. The Shadow King believed he would return and destroy May Bernard. He did not yet understand what had awakened against him. May was no longer the wolfless maid. She was Luna. She was guardian. She was light standing against darkness. And she was only beginning.